Hey guys, this is Grant Coombs III, aka Balbomb, coming to you for another video from CardRunners.com. In this video, we're actually going to be going over my second series of my yellow tag series. And what we talked about in the first is that pretty much the yellow tag just comes from the hands that I played over the last, I don't know, it even dates back to 4 or 5 months now, of hands that either I wanted to talk about with you guys or hands that I wanted to talk about with my friends that I had a lot of questions about. And the yellow tag series essentially is talking about a bunch of, I think, pretty complex topics that sometimes might just fit into one video. A lot of times will be a diverse number of things that could fit into a number of different topics. In this situation, we're really only going to be talking about one topic throughout this video. And that question is, what do we do with showdown bound hands on later streets? Should we be making them into bluffs or should we be calling down? And I'll tell you, from the way that I play poker, the amount of hands that I make really big hero calls on, and I define hero calls typically by calling 3 streets of value with less than top pair, is actually going to be quite small, I think, compared to the typical player base. Instead, what I actually like to do is turn a lot of showdown bound hands into bluffs. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. This video is actually something that I've been thinking about for probably over a year plus since I've been making card runners videos. And I've had a really difficult time formulating that into a video for a number of different reasons. One big reason is because a lot of times I talk about hands with players, I get a lot of different responses when thinking about hands that have definite showdown value and whether to turn them into bluffs or to call them down or just to simply fold them. And the consensus, there's absolutely no consensus, to be honest with you, based on what I feel are really good players that are looking at the videos or looking at the hands, particularly a lot of guys that actually play higher than me, and there's still no consensus. And I'll tell you that based on my play, I tend to turn these into bluffs. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the hands that I do turn into bluffs. So let's look at this first hand here. We're playing against a standard regular, and I think it plays out really simply until the river. The under the gun raises to 3.5 big blinds. We end up calling on the button with 8-9 of diamonds. Really standard for my play. I'm pretty much not going to be doing much else here. I do like to have a pretty wide range here, and depending on who's in the small and big blind, I can still call here with the big hands, attempting to back raise them if they happen to squeeze here. I'm also not really anticipating a lot of squeezes because I think the under the gun is a pretty tight player. The flop's really standard here. I'm never going to be doing anything else. And definitely like a turn check back here for a number of reasons. First of all, I think that he can be going for a check raise occasionally, but additionally, I think that by checking the turn, it allows him to play his hand really face up, which is really good for my range. And additionally, I think that my overall range is quite balanced here. The river's a queen of spades, which completes a possible flush draw, and he bets 18 into 22. So I think this is really the most basic question, or one of the more basic questions we come about in poker, is does he have a queen or not? And if you look at his overall range, he's probably going to be opening under the gun with queen jack suited, and then pretty much any king queen, and then a lot of ace queens. He's also probably going to understand that because I have 8-9 in my range, I'm probably also going to have 8-7 suited as well, which means that he might be somewhat tentative. And if he's not going to be able to extract a lot of thin value, I could see players also check kings and aces occasionally here as well. So he's going to have a lot of combinations of hands that include queen X that beat me. Additionally, he can also have hands like 9s, 10s, and jacks that might not want to bet the turn, but feel pretty comfortable here on the river, knowing that I will not have a hand like queen 8 in my range, and probably also won't have a lot of ace king or king queens. If I had king queen of spades or ace queen, I'd probably be betting them on the turn most likely. So the real question here is, it's an obvious scare card, but does he have a queen on the river? I think a lot of players will either dissect ranges or think about the player type or say that they're near the top of their range here, so they have to call with 8-9, knowing that they're probably going to be folding a lot of hands here. They're going to be folding their 7s, 6s, 5s that they're probably going to be calling with here on the flop, and they're also going to be folding their complete floats here. They're trying to look like showdown bound ranges, so like something like king jack or ace 10 with ace of spades, something like that.